Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation. It is time for Taroscopes again. We're going to be doing the Taroscopes for the sign of Aquarius. That's Aquarius Sun, Moon, arising for the month of June 2025. So we're going to get started. Before we do that, I just want to welcome my new subscribers. Thank you for joining this wonderful community of like-minded souls. For my tried and true who have been with me for years and have walked this journey, rather circuitous journey at that, for years. Thank you so much for your continued support. It means the world to me. To my new members on YouTube, thank you so much for your support. There's more to come, uh, a few more apples for the basket of deplorables, and also people that we love and have faith and hope for. More videos will be coming for that, including more card readings as well. And for my Patreon folks, thank you so much for your continued support. It really does mean the world to me. All right, so let us get into the chart. And just give me a moment so I can get to the right spot here. Alrighty. Okay, here we go. Aquarius, love it. Okay, Aquarius. Well, as you know, Pluto is in your sign now for the next 18 years. So that's right in the first house. You're going to be going through a transformational process. But in a way, Aquarius leads the way, right? Because with Pluto in Aquarius, the transformation of the energy of Aquarius, of course, it has to do with power. It also has to do with a certain amount of powerlessness. Aquarius deals with technology. And if anybody's comfortable with technology, it's generally you. So in a way, you can be a good, um, you could be a good, you're a good person to bring the new and the technologically advanced stuff to us in a way that's not going to scare the living poop out of everybody, right? Okay. So the sun starts the month in Gemini, a fellow air sign. Gemini sits in your fifth house, which means that it's actually a very creative time. Once the sun moves into Cancer, it moves into that sixth house. That happens on the 20th. That is the summer solstice or the winter solstice, depending on where you live. Here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's the longest day and the beginning of our summer season. Oh, I got a goodie coming.
You recording still?
Yeah,
Oh, you-
thank you. Okay. So once the sun moves into that house, the sixth house, that is, um, and the sun being in Cancer, a very emotional sign, um, you're going to have to deal with some feelings. We also have Mercury starting the month in Gemini, and then it moves into Cancer, where it'll spend 2.5 weeks. It moves into Cancer on the 9th. Hold on, let me look. Nope, that's not the one. Um, the 8th. Yeah, I knew it was close. It moves into Cancer on the 8th, and from the 8th to the 26th, when it moves into Leo, um, it's feelings, big feelings. Now, Aquarius isn't the most comfortable with feelings. Aquarius would often prefer for things to be more cut and dry, no emotionality. If you could, emotionality, sentimentality is not your thing, but you might find yourself being more sentimental than usual. And that being said, we have the sun moving in there, we have Mercury moving in there, but we also have Jupiter moving in there. Now, Jupiter spends about a year in a sign, so it's actually been in your fifth house. So it's been a very creative time as it's been in Gemini. But on the 9th, Jupiter moves into Cancer. Now, Jupiter likes being in Cancer. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So as far as Jupiter being in a sign that it's comfortable in, that's a plus. But again, it's that sentimentality and that emotions and that feelings. And, of course, Cancer is associated with the home. And very often, Aquarius is an interesting archetype because very often people with Aquarius have different experiences around home and family, but they do tend to be very tribal in nature. So a lot of the tribal stuff may come up. Jupiter is going to be in that house for a year, and it is the house of health. And so you're going to have to pay attention to your health. In fact, if emotional things sort of bring up health issues, they need to be dealt with. But it's also the house of service, and it's the house of pets. So with Jupiter there, you might find yourself suddenly wanting to foster kittens or puppies, and all of a sudden now your life is filled with all of this fluff and love. So it's a good way actually for the Aquarius rising to get connected to and connected to feelings through, service to something that's depending on you, whether it be a puppy or a kitten, or you get involved in some sort of service for the community. It's a really good way to work with that Cancer energy, because Cancer is about spreading the comfort, spreading the a sense that you're being taken care of. And you can feel that for yourself and you can take it in, even though you often feel like nobody quite understands you. Or you can be the conduit of that energy to others. Um, both Saturn and Neptune this month are in Aries. Now they're going to be in Aries together for a couple of months and then they move out back into Pisces. But this is your third house. Neptune and Saturn are in what we call a balsamic relationship to each other. So what that means is that Saturn is moving towards Neptune to the conjunction. Now the conjunction doesn't actually happen until February of 2026. So we're not gonna get to the beginning of a new cycle. We're still at the end of an old cycle, and that cycle began in 1989. So there are things that have been happening for 36 years, right? That now are coming to its end. It's in your house of siblings, neighborhood, um, and elementary education. It's the house of the mind. Something may come to an end in any of those areas over the next couple of months. And then in February, you'll be ready to start something new. So you might even change your neighborhood. I mean, I don't know what your situation is, but you could find yourself planning to move where you are and move into a new place, as it were. Venus, the planet of love, which has had its challenges, it had its retrograde cycle this year. It was retrograde in Aries. It started its retrograde cycle in Aries, retrograded back into Pisces, then started moving forward, moving back into Aries, meeting up with Neptune in Aries. And it's been sort of working its way through your third house very powerfully and ready to take on all comers, really. Venus in Aries is not playing. She's going to take on whatever she feels is a danger to her, her values, and the people that she loves. So you might have been experiencing that in your neighborhood or with your siblings, because it is in your third house. But it's just a general theme. It doesn't always have to happen just there, because we're all experiencing Venus in Aries. But then she moves on the 6th, she moves into Taurus. This feels much more settled. You're going to feel much more settled once Venus moves into Taurus, into your fourth house. Slow and steady wins the race with Venus and Taurus. It's a time when you can apply your energies to your home to beautify it. But it's practical and it's pragmatic, and it really is a sense of what is truly important to you and how you're going to express that in your home or in your family. Uranus is still there. It is going to be there all month. It does move into Gemini next month, and it's going to be in Gemini for a couple of months, and then it's going to go back into Taurus. So it's not quite done with Taurus, but it's almost done with Taurus. So as we stand here in June, it's still in that fourth house, and that could be shaking up the very foundations of your family, really, with Uranus there. But that's been going on now for 7 years, almost eight, no, oh, about 7 years. It's almost done, so a little less than 7 years, but that's how long Uranus spends in a sign. Uranus is going to move into Gemini next month, as I said, go back into Taurus for a bit, and then move into Gemini and stay there for 7 years. And that's your house of creativity. So, and brilliant ideas. And Uranus is your ruling planet. But actually, you have two ruling planets. You have Uranus as the modern ruler, and Saturn as your traditional ruler of your sign. Both of those energies are moving out of a sign they've been in for a while and moving into a new sign. But they're sort of doing this. They're not quite done. So you're still not going to feel quite maybe steady on your feet or knowing where you stand. There's still things that has to happen before we can actually get there. Mercury does move into Leo. That happens on the 26th. Um, in your house of relationship, Mercury is about communication, but it's also about listening. You have Mars in that house. Mars has actually been in your seventh and sixth and seventh house as it went through its retrograde cycle. That is challenging. It is a challenging place to have. Well, Mars retrograde is always challenging, but especially in the house of relationships and then in the house of service and health. So you've had to probably make quite a few adjustments in the way you're related to people and in the way you're related to your own physical self. But now Mars is moving out of Leo and will be moving into the eighth house as it moves into Virgo. Now, Mars in the eighth house is interesting because Mars brings energy, and the eighth house is sort of a hidden house, as most of the Earth sign houses are. I mean, did I say Earth signs? Water houses. The water houses, fourth house, eighth house, 12th house, things happen there, but it's not always clear. We can't always see. It depends on how clear the water is, how murky the water is. And that'll just depend on you and the situation you find yourself in. But Mars in Virgo is very detail oriented. And the eighth house is the house of taxes. It's the house of inheritance. It's the house of insurance. It's where we share our resources with others. It's the house of Social Security. So you might find yourself attending to all those things, whether you do that for work or whether you do that for yourself, dealing with the details. And Mars and Virgo is very well equipped for that. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. You know what I need? I need a cough drop. I'm sorry. Okay. The nodes of the moon, of course, the nodes of the moon are in these signs, the south node in Virgo, the north node in Pisces for 18 going on 19 months, right? So it just started this configuration moving into the mutable signs of Pisces and Virgo began in January. The mutable signs are about change, and this is us dealing with change. Uh, it really is important that you that you forgive yourself for the things that you feel you didn't do quite right. Um, it really is about bringing unconditional love to yourself, even though you're different and not everybody understands you. As long as you understand yourself and you love yourself, you'll be in good stead while letting go of complicated relationships here with the South Node going through the eighth house. Uh, any relationship where perhaps you're giving up your power, it's time to evaluate that and let it go. All right, I think I covered all the bases. Oh, I didn't cover the new moon. We have the new moon in Cancer. That's actually happening later in the month. That's happening on the 25th. But it's in the house of health and service. So you could be starting a new project, a new job, or a new health regime. And then the full moon, which happens earlier in the month, that happens on the 11th. The axis that's getting activated is the axis of love with the full moon in your house of friends. And so you might have an illumination around who your friends are, maybe who your friends aren't, the truth of a situation. You have the sun, Jupiter, and Mercury at that time. Well, maybe Mercury's not in there. No, so it's just the sun and Jupiter at the time of the full moon illuminating fun. So this could actually be quite a fun new moon if you're good with that. Did I say new moon? I meant full moon. A fun full moon. So that looks pretty good. Okay. I think that's enough. I think that's a good roundup for the energy for Aquarius. Remember, this applies to Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And now we're going to be doing the tarot reading. Now, I believe this is the Witch's Tarot. Can't remember the name. I don't have it doesn't come in the box for me to know, and I forget the name of it, but I will put it in the descriptor below. So you can, if you want to check it out, you have the information you need. But off the top of my head, I cannot remember the name of this deck, but it is a beautiful deck. So when you see it, you'll like it. I'm sure you'll like it. I like it. All right, what are we starting with? What are we starting with? We're starting with the Six of Fire. The Six of Fire. This is the Six of Wands. It's the victory card. So you have reached a point where you feel like a victory has been won. Perhaps you stood up for what was important to you. This is the sixes in the tarot, all located in the yellow Sephiroth right there. And that's connected to the heart. So all the sixes are connected to the heart. In the Kabbalah, it's called the intelligence of mediation. So it's about bringing balance, balancing the scales. And in fire, it's sort of a victory of spirit in a way. Let's see what's challenging that. The Ten of Fire. This is the Ten of Wands. It can be somewhat oppressive. There's some impression that you're trying to let go of and release. Maybe too many burdens. Too many burdens. It's time to let go. You've succeeded. Now it's time to uh, take a rest. You know, the Ten of Fire is too much responsibility. Let's see what's underneath it. The Wisdom Keeper, 17 in this deck. So this is about what is the root of this reading is the wisdom that you hold within your soul, right? This is the shaman here. This is the one who's in charge of health and the welfare of the tribe. 17 as a vibration is the vibration of the star card, right? So there's hope, but what your victory is based on your previous knowledge and the wisdom that you hold. And you're seen as a wisdom keeper. You're seen as somebody who's very wise. Let's see what's in the past. Ooh, we have the goddess of fire. So this is an energy. This is sort of the queen of wands energy. This is somebody who's maybe you've stirred the pot. You've stirred the pot. You've taken everything that you know and you've mixed it together and you're creating nurturance. That's the past. It sort of goes along with that wisdom keeper energy. In the sky, we have the Two of Earth. So this is about taking a rest, or this is about hibernating, and it's in the sky. So it can be a suggestion from spirit. Now that you have reached a victory, it's time for you to step back and relax. Of course, we have all that energy going in the sixth house, right? We talked about that in the astrology. So maybe that is connected. In the immediate future, we have the messenger of air. This can be the energy of the whistleblower or the person who is really paying attention. It is an innocent energy, so it can be. So either there's a young person who is keeping their ears open, and if they give you a message, you want to listen to it. It may not, you might say, well, that doesn't make any sense, or that can't be right. But this person is paying attention. It can be you, but I feel like it's somebody else. I feel like it's a younger person. And maybe with the wisdom keeper energy at the root, it's time for you to bring an apprentice in. It's time for you to see who's bright and who's tapped in, and work with that person. I feel like that's what that's about. In the how it's seen from the outside, the world is on fire. The world is on fire. You've spent a lot of time putting out fires. You're walking away from that. So again, there's this energy of you finding a place to calm down, to the war is over kind of thing, and you need to attend to your own needs at this time. Your domestic situation, the Council of All Beings, the 21 card in this deck, it's sort of the world card, but it also has this indication of coming together with other wisdom seekers. I want to say that your home could actually be a gathering place for the sages and the holders of wisdom, um, working together. It's like if you're in the worldly energy, it's time for you to sort of come out of that, to move away from that and move into a more okay, this is the time when we all get together, we all take our wisdom, and we see what we can create and what we can make. Remember that Saturn Neptune energy is still about letting go, even though it's in Aries and they're close enough to be conjunct. It's not about beginnings, it's about endings. And so I feel like there's a lot of people in your place with your wisdom that have turned their back and said, no more in the outer world. Now we must come together on the inner planes or in somebody's home, which could be yours. So, hopes and fears, the Two of Water. This is play, communication, relationship, kindness, right? It's a hope. I doubt very much if it's a fear. And in the outcome, we have the Craftsman of Earth. This is practical application. This is sort of an energy of working with the earth. This is practical matters. Earth is usually money. I want to say, now I don't know where this is coming from, but I'll just say what comes to mind. Is a lot of people that don't understand things like crypto and blockchain and all that technological money stuff. Money really is what we decide it is and what we put value to. It doesn't have any value in itself, but it's the importance that we put on it. And so this can be a bringing that technical understanding to earth, to ground it in a thing that people will understand and feel more secure around. But let's see if we can get a major arcana. We get the maze. I guess this is a major arcana. But there's a storm ahead, and there's a maze ahead. The maze really helps us to look within, um, to there is a sense of not quite knowing where you're going at this time, but it's more in the process of going than it is knowing where you're going. All right, let's see what's underneath. Ooh, we have the goddess of earth. So again, we're bringing this energy to ground. And perhaps this is you grounding yourself. Aquarius is known for being up in the ethers. And it's about taking all that information and all that knowledge and making it practical for us. Oops. Ooh, the star. So the star of hope. This is also could be democracy and wisdom. And the Three of Water, which is about coming together, feeling safe, feeling among friends, um, Yeah, I really feel like these cards are talking about um you turning really kind of turning your back on the outer world in a way, but getting together with others who have the wisdom and planning something for the future. That's what it feels like to me. Wow, these are pretty interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what spirit animal comes up for you, Aquarius. Let's do that. So this is the Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. Bolette, I said Colette. What do we have here? Slow and steady wins the race. Yes, it does. Okay. What is the energy for Aquarius? Speak to me, Animal Oracle, Spirit Animal Oracle. Speak to me. Okay. We have Wolf Spirit. Now, Wolf is kind of a loner energy, but it says turning knowledge into wisdom. Okay, let's see what it says. Ooh. I think this might be actually the last card in this deck. Oh, no, not quite. All right. Wolf Spirit. I'll hold it up. Let me see if I can get it into focus because these cards are so beautiful. I hate to deny you the beauty of the card. Almost. I guess that's close enough. Let me see if I can get behind it so my face isn't in the way. It says turn knowledge into wisdom. Wolf Spirit leads you deep into the enchanted forest that holds the secrets of your life. You can sense her beckoning you to follow, asking you to take all you have learned and all you are learning and make it yours. Can you integrate it all into your body, mind, and spirit? Whatever lessons you've learned along the way, do not leave them unexamined. Be loyal. Sorry about this. Can't turn the page with one hand. To your dreams, to your soul, and to turning knowledge into wisdom and experience into magic. You are the one you have been waiting for. Be still and know that the sound of your heart beats in harmony with the whole world. The appearance of Wolf Spirit is an auspicious omen that says you are truly in alignment with your destiny. Here's your protection message. What is unknown is still yet to be discovered. When Wolf Spirit appears, you are being told not to pretend you know something when you don't. You won't impress anyone with a little bit of knowledge. In fact, you will rob yourself of true experience and education. If you tell yourself you are done learning or you don't have to know something, be open, be humble, be teachable, and the world will open itself up for you like magic. So there are still things to learn, but I do very much feel, and the energy of Aquarius is group consciousness. It is tribal in its nature, but the tribe I think that you're coming together with in June is your spiritual tribe. Is your spiritual tribe. So enjoy. Someone who spends every week with their spiritual tribe. It's really cool. All right. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Have a great month. I'll see you again in July for the Tarot Scopes for July. But until then, namaste.